Good morning, everyone. On to Farrell, the success strategist, bringing you week 37 on Spotlight on Success. And we're talking today about turning the corner from selling to serving for heightened success. And why does this topic matter to us at this point in time in the rollout of our year? It's because we are setting the momentum, catching the wave, if you will, from all of the work that we've done earlier in the year across people, process, technologies, our business model, our partners, really deep diving into our teams, to heighten our performance and our capabilities with regard to scaling. Now it's time to put the next phase into action. And how do we go about doing that? Sometimes we forget, as business leaders, as entrepreneurs, that we are serving clients, that we are serving customers, that we are serving our partners. We get so wrapped up in the performance of our organizations that we forget that we exist because of those entities we are serving. So today is a re-baselining and a reorientation as to how we move from selling back to serving, to scale and grow our businesses 10 to 25x. And so what does this really mean? It means we need to re-look at how we approach this. We need to move from a transactional mindset because, yes, there is a numbers part of this. We cannot just sit in our boardrooms, sit in our offices, wander around the country and expect for us to build customers, clients, partners without sharing the value and the impact and the opportunity space to enable their organizations to achieve greater success through the use of our products and services, and in some cases, our people, right? So we need to move this from a, I want to sell to them, to a, I want to serve that leader. I want to serve that organization. I want to serve that other entrepreneur. I want to serve that customer and client. And we want to serve internally to create the right mindset, culture, clarity, alignment, and performance to enable everyone to be on the same page. So often we hear about these stories where one part of the organization is doing plan A, another part of the organization is doing plan B. You know, the executives and the board are over here on plan C, right? And we're not in alignment. And then we end up not being able to serve the customer or the account or the client or that other entrepreneur or our partners or other parts of our organization internally because we're not in tune. We're not rowing in tandem. We're not focused on achieving the same goals. We've allowed competition to overcome cooperation and coordination and collaboration to ultimately the detriment of us being able to serve out. So here, when we move to that place of serving, that means the entirety of the organization needs to understand, where are we with regard to this opportunity? What are we doing with regard to a capture, right? Because serving is about capture. Capture is about understanding the requirements. Capture is about capability gap analysis. Capture is about making sure we're sending the strongest value proposition and message to that other organization, that other team, that other entrepreneur, business leader. So why are we doing that? It's because we need and want to, right? Long-term sustainable scalability and growth is all about creating relationships. It's about creating loyalty. It's about creating ongoing value for the entities we're serving, internal and external. And so we really want to be focused on the service-oriented approach because it better helps us understand and address our customer needs and our requirements. If we can arrive at the table from a place of curiosity, from a place of listening, from a place of serving their higher good, then we understand it's about how can we help them create the best value and impact across multiple spectrums of their strategic goals and outcomes. And then we create more pies, bigger pies, more slices of the pie for everybody to harness, grow, and scale from, because we are exponentially being additive versus a transactional sales mindset, which is focused on achieving one outcome, this product or this service or this thing or this group or this initiative, right? We leave a lot of opportunity on the table and we become so hyper focused on closing the deal for the one thing. If we went to the place and embraced our customers and clients and prospects in this manner, we understand where they're at, what they need, not only for the short term, but for the medium and long term. And then we can strategically position ourselves as their champion and advocate and the top success maker for them. And that's really what we want to be doing when we're creating our sales funnel, when we're moving through our innovation roadmaps, when we are looking at the products and services within our own portfolio. We want to be understanding how does each one of those rack and stack against those customer needs, and how can we best bring that to light so that they can see it adds value, it adds impact for the long term. The next, and really the building block behind that, is meeting customers not only where they're at, but understanding what they're not saying in those conversations, right? So we approach it from not a sales conversation, but from a conversation with regard to understanding truly what they need as leaders, what they need as an organization, what their workforce needs, what their customer needs, right? How are they serving their customers through what you as a business leader or an entrepreneur are serving up product and service wide, because that's the leapfrog moment, right? When you can see downstream how your product and service is going to be harnessed and utilized to serve their customers exponentially, right? And so it opens up the conversation in a different way than, again, if we just were hyper focused on one sales outcome. We want to deeply listen. We want to be curious. We want to be curious about where they've been, what they've tried, what's working, what's not working. And we want to empathize with them with regard to where they're at, and position ourselves strategically to be the advisor and consultant on their overall success. Because really your product or services is a factor, and it could be a large element of their future success. So let's figure out ways to have the conversation about that entire success model and what that looks like. Is that a new market? Is that new customers and clients? Is that a new niche? Is that a new generation? Is that a new partnership, right? So the more we can get them talking about what they envision from their clarity, alignment, and performance from a business model and outcomes and results, the more we can show that we have the value and the impact and the products and the services to be able to not only meet them where they're at, but to enable them where they're going. So understanding customer needs, building relationships, huge, because it's about that trust and that transparency and the truth you're exchanging and that safe conversations where they'll learn about you as a business leader and an entrepreneur, and you'll be able to showcase your products and services through that lens of a trusted partner. The next is, right, we want to move from transactional to this service-oriented approach. So that requires us to cultivate a company culture that prioritizes service excellence, right? It's not just about party A, party B, party C, let's close the contract, let's close the deal. We need to understand and have every touch point that potential customer client or existing customer client has with us include a customer first mindset where we're integrating service values in every aspect of our business, right? So it can't just be one person. It needs to be the entirety of the team. It needs to be, if you have sales engineers, it needs to be the engineers, it needs to be the product owners, it needs to be the service owners, it needs to be the customer and field reps, or if you were a one-person shop, you need to figure out, how do I change my mindset from transactional to service excellence? Because that's where we create this resonance with our customer. Customer first mindset, service values, and service driven everything in how we reach out, in how we show up, in how we engage them, in how we close, and in how we support for the long term. How can we do that is through offering the clients and the customers the right solution with the right support, right? We don't need to give them something they don't need. They won't need in the early stage or the midterm, right? We want to not only meet them where they are at, but help them grow and scale. So we would outline a phased approach. Here's the features and the functions of the products and or services that you can harness in your growth phase 1 versus 2 versus 3. What does that investment look like for them? Could that be a tiered service offering so that as they scaled and grew, they can utilize and harness more of your features and functionality and capabilities as they progress through their own maturation phase, right? So very, very rarely do we go into a conversation or we go into a sale saying our customer and client is going to be able to use 100% of the features and functionality, because they have to, especially if they're not aware of the product and service. You have an awareness campaign, you have an engagement campaign, you have a value and impact communication campaign to show all of the merits. And the way we do that is that cross-functional analysis to show business unit A, it can harness feature and functionality and provide these outcomes for you: governance, risk, revenue, awareness, partnerships, etc., right? So for each of those organizational units, we want to make sure we're highlighting that it's a cross-functional solution or a cross-functional service that when they purchase, they can then rack and stack or lift and shift across multiple parts of the organization to get heightened value, because that's the scaling recipe for success. So we want to enhance the value. We can provide tailored solution to their immediate term needs. Then we enhance through support and proactive problem solving mid and long term. And that's the way we can differentiate our business, because we're adding significant value, not only from the get-go, but long-term through the lens of we're building a sustainable long-term relationship based on trust. And the way we do that is high quality solutions and services with excellence in support and our cultural aspects of service. Next is we need to understand how we did with that client. So we need to not shy away with asking and leveraging feedback. So we need to do that early, and we need to do that often, because it's what allows us to pivot if something isn't working. Something isn't working in our marketing, something isn't working with our service oriented sales model, something isn't working with our support model, something isn't working with the creating that trust and transparency with that client. So we need to understand who we can approach to get the honest feedback that will allow us to refine our approaches, either on the product or service or engagement or awareness or really positioning strategically for mid and long term, so that we can make our own continuous improvements to better serve our clients. And when we have that conversation in a very open way, what we do is we open up the aperture to the clients and customers we're serving, that they too can do that, right? Oftentimes, this is a huge leadership optimization area, because when we discuss that through the lens of how can we offer heightened value and service to them, and how do they feel we're doing in serving them short, mid, and long term, then we have the conversation and we can be the champion and advocate for that leveraging of feedback for them for continuous improvement. We can plant a seed for the models and methodologies we can use in this area. And through that, we can be an advocate for that organization's change and further success. Because every time we can bring them a rubric that they can harness and leverage, they can scale exponentially higher. And that's ultimately what we're trying to enable them to do: scale at a heightened level, growth, success, as well as their own internal capabilities to meet that. And when we can bring that to the table, then they look even more to us for that trusted advisory and success model. Next is, we can't help them or ourselves reach a certain level of success and impact unless we're able and willing to articulate what that looks like. And it's really this blend of qualitative and quantitative scorecards, dashboards, key to helping executives, middle management, and SMEs and workforce entities see how they're doing. It's also the mechanism that we can use for driving further success, because if we can gamify what we're doing in this model for success, then we make it fun. We get everyone rowing in the right direction, because everybody can begin seeing what is their role, what is their play in this ultimate success outcome. And so we want to create measures of success, especially around that service-oriented approach, that are about customer satisfaction, that are about customer retention, that are about overall business growth and impact that we are not only enabling for our customers, but their customers and our organizations as well. And then last but not least, we're looking at how meaningful engagements drive success. We've really talked about the elements that lead up to this, but it's the really movement away from transactional sales to a much deeper service-oriented approach built on truth and trust and transparency, and really being willing to have the conversations as to how we can best help the business leaders and entrepreneurs we are serving. So we want to make that a meaningful engagement that is about relationship strengthening, loyalty, and driving sustainable growth. So sometimes we have to go back to the beginning. We can't just say, here's, we've watched you in the marketplace. We might have had a previous conversation. Here's the capabilities you said are most important for you. Here's how we think we can rack and stack against your competition. Let's go. Right? We need to truly engage and understand the problem set, the challenges, the issues. Where have they been before? What hasn't worked? Because that allows us to strategically insert and build that bridge to success that they were not able to reach or have with some other vendor or business, right? So we want to bring all of that to the table. So again, this is week 37. Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the CEO of Global Innovation Strategies and the Success Strategist, having brought you week 37 on Spotlight on Success. We would love to be able to serve you and your business as you grow and scale for 10 to 25x in the marketplace today, tomorrow, next year, and going forward. You can reach out to us at www.gblinnovstratllc.com. We're looking forward to serving your future success.